Hi everyone, I'm going to wait for the room to fill up a little more and also wait for our guests to come through. But I wanted to start by saying hi, it's Camille, MontagePR here. I haven't checked in with you guys in a while on Meet the Media, so for those of you who are sticking with us since the fall, thank you. For those of you that are joining me today for the first time, thank you also. I just want to kind of recap and give you an idea of what Meet the Media Monday is about. I've been talking about it, and this is the first time that we're actually doing it on our own platform at Meet the Media. So I want to give everybody a daily dose of inspiration. I usually do these in the mornings, but I'm trying to work around everyone's schedule, which is really hectic at this time, as you can imagine. But the whole purpose is to bring the people who may not be in the forefront, the people who, and those who are in the forefront as well, but kind of give you a background on how they made it, the people who make the news, what that takes, what their background is in the industry, from, you know, your traditional news anchors to the people who are working behind the scenes. Give you guys some tips on how to connect with those people, and you can get firsthand information on how to build your stories, how to break into the industry, etc. So I see my guest is on. I want to add her in right now. I have Tia on TV. We're going to wait for her to join us.
Hey, how you
How are
doing?
you?
Good. How you doing today?
Good, thank you so much. I was kind of giving everybody the rundown on what it is that I do for Meet the Media Mondays. I was usually doing this on my handle, Montage PR, but I wanted to grow into a platform where I'm constantly promoting you guys on a daily basis. And we can hopefully, once all this is over, you know, do some in-person talks and panel discussions, because I think it's really important to show, you know, people who aspire to be you, how you got there, and also to show those non-traditional positions as well. You know, not only your typical anchors, you know, but the people who make the news behind the scenes, producers, showrunners, etc.
I
So
love your
thank you so
listing.
much for joining me.
Oh, no
Oh, thank
problem.
you.
Let me get this little room together. Hold on. So we get some
Okay,
good lighting in here. Hold on. You know, news people, they all about their lighting, honey.
right.
All right,
You
I
look
think we should be
great.
good. Hold on. Let me make sure. Yep, we should be good.
Okay,
So what's going
perfect. Thank you
on?
so
What you
much.
want to know? Huh?
Absolutely. So first, I guess we should give the introduction. Do you want to just start off by telling everybody who you are, what it is you do? I mean, if they don't know.
All right, so my name is Tia Ewing. I work in Chicago at Fox 32 Chicago. I wear a lot of hats. I occasionally anchor, I report, and I also host a late night talk show that airs on Fox 32 as well. So I am born and raised right here in Chicago. And yeah, I think I'm just an around the way girl. That's how I would describe myself.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I want to dive into it. I don't know how we can really get into the discussion without talking about the coronavirus. So
Oh
I kind of want to
gosh.
just, yeah, it's like we have to. You know, but I don't want to make this all about that. But I
Yeah.
do want to see, you know, how that's affecting you in terms of, you know, your position. What are you doing during this time?
So it has affected my position tremendously. So typically my day would consist of I go into work, I prep for the late night show that we film, and we usually film it early in the day. And then after that, I would go out and report. Sometimes anchor too, but go out into the field a lot of times. And so as a result, we had to basically put that show on hold and focus mainly on coronavirus coverage. So now my day looks like this. I have a rental car from the company. I get in the rental car. I meet my photographer wherever he is or he meets me. We are in two separate cars because obviously social distancing. And then we do everything in the field. We never make it into the newsroom whatsoever. We never go back there. The only time we will go back there is to use the restroom facilities that are located in the building. But we pretty much operate out of a car the entire day. That's the way that it works.
Oh my goodness. So do you even fear, you know, to be honest, I'm really concerned, particularly about people who are covering the media right now. And it's several, from Andy Cohen to Michael Yo, that I've seen have come
That's
down with
how it goes.
coronavirus. You know, is that something that you fear? You know, you're putting your life on the line to bring us those stories.
Oh, of course it's something that I fear. It's something that I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm 100% comfortable with it. I'm not. I decided that the smartest thing for me to do. So before the CDC and the current administration came out and said that they thought we should wear masks, I was telling everybody that I knew, you got to wear a mask. And people were questioning me because clearly I'm no scientist. But early on in the coronavirus coverage, I did a story with a laboratory called the Argonne National Labs. They are known for doing all kind of research. They did the research that was behind the first HIV/AIDS medication that came out. I believe Ebola as well. I did the story a while ago, but definitely HIV/AIDS. And so as a result of talking to those scientists, I knew that this virus could exist in the air. Now, I'm not going to go out and say it's airborne, but it can live in the air. So to some extent, that would mean that it can be airborne. Doesn't mean that it survives in the air and it's in the air forever. But I knew early on, after talking to those scientists who were doing the research, with the mindset of hopefully handing that research off to somebody that could make the vaccine to cure this, that this stuff could live in the air. It could live on surfaces. It could live, you know. So I knew early on, and I told everybody, yo, you better wear a mask. And people thought it was a joke. Like, Black people don't get this. That's what I heard from some people.
Right.
And now you see disproportionately who's being affected. So I knew early on to wear a mask. So I made the decision on Friday that no matter what, if I'm going to be standing out on the street, I'm wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And gloves. I have been wearing the gloves, but the biggest thing that I guess I was concerned about initially was, you know, you have a responsibility. You don't want to create panic. You don't want to create fear in people. So you go on TV wearing a mask. People could take that a million ways, and not everybody has the leisure of being able to get a mask in the right time. So I had to own that as a responsibility of, if I wear this mask, what message is that sending? And I think that as the media, we have the responsibility to send a clear message. And the message is, there's a lot of unknowns. Everybody's getting on TV claiming that they know when they've never dealt with this virus before in their lives. And so you need to wear a mask, period.
Yeah.
So I'm wearing and gloves. Is that going to save me from getting coronavirus out in the streets? No. I don't believe so. I don't believe that's a cure-all, because if that was the case, so many doctors and nurses wouldn't get it. They've been wearing masks and they've been diagnosed. So I mean, I'm on the fence about it. You know, I feel like I have a responsibility to inform the people, but at the same time, I don't want to be sick either. But every day that I'm going out on the streets, it's a higher probability that I could get sick, right? I mean, that's just the reality.
That's crazy. Well, thank you. Yeah. Did you ever think that you would have this type of moment? You know, I'm pretty sure, you know, a lot of newscasters, reporters fear their lives, and in a way that I never thought before. A local news reporter, Marquette Shepard, said that she has a bulletproof backpack. And, you know, I never thought that these are things that you guys have to, you know, deal with on a daily basis. Yeah.
Well, I report in Chicago, and there's no secret that Chicago definitely has its share of crime. Maybe not as much now because people got other concerns, but this is a dangerous city in a lot of ways. So I never felt, you know, I'm born and raised here, so my view on crime probably wouldn't be the same as somebody that was born and raised in the suburbs here. You know, I grew up in the inner city here, so I don't have that kind of fear. I don't walk around like, oh, I could be shot. You know what I mean? Because growing up in the inner city, that was my life every day, you know, as a child. The probability of, right? Like the possibility of. So I don't think that way. But coronavirus is one of those things where you don't have to be in a bad neighborhood, right? You don't have to be hanging out with the wrong people, because you know how the media frames things. You don't have to be a person that has a criminal history. None of that matters at the end of the day. So I think coronavirus is more of a silent killer versus if you're in the streets of Chicago and somebody's coming at you with a gun. That's a little bit different. And sure, I've had moments where people have flashed a gun at me. Yeah, that's happened. But I think that this is something that you could possibly control to some extent. You know what I mean? Like being out there puts you more at risk.
Right.
That makes sense. Versus gun violence. I mean, I don't think you really can necessarily control that. You could be a victim of that at any time. But in this case, I feel like this is something that to some extent you may be able to control. So I don't know. I have a fear of it, but what can I do? Yeah. I mean, what's my alternative at this point?
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you. The media is so important. And that's, you know, a big part of, again, why I want to highlight you guys. I definitely want to thank you for literally putting your life on the line out there for us every day. You know, this we can have up-to-date information.
And I want to be clear, it's not the equivalent to a doctor or nurse. You know, that's putting your life on the line. That's the ultimate sacrifice that I know nothing about whatsoever.
Firsthand dealing with, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, in all honesty, I mean, I'm standing outside out of the course of the day, maybe an hour. You know, if you were to add it all up, maybe an hour. That's not the equivalent to being in an ER where people are coming in and they think they may have it or they don't know, or, you know, that's a little bit different. So I'm not here to say, woe is me, you know, victim. No, I think that there is but you're putting yourself at risk, leaving your house, anybody that leaves their house. That's where they're telling people to stay at home. You're putting yourself at risk. But I don't know. I just think it's all very frightening. And I don't think anybody has a definite answer of what we're dealing with, obviously. So it's getting worse every day in some places. New York, I think for the first time today, reported no deaths. Thank God. Yeah. But I mean, look at all the people that have died thus far. So, I mean, there's a lot of questions into what kind of monster are we? This is a monster. This is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like this. Never thought I would. Really wish I hadn't, to be honest. I think that's something that's going to change our lives forever. I hope for the good. I know that sounds crazy because it's so evil what's happening. I hope that it changes our lives for the good. But it's a moment that I could have lived without because, you know, I'm a journalist, yes. And oftentimes as a journalist, you have to put your emotions to the side. But I'm an emotional person. I care, you know, so that's very hard when you keep hearing, okay, now 9,000 people are infected by this, you know, 180 people are now dead. Like, for me, that hurts. You know, I don't know none of those people. I don't know anybody that's personally died from coronavirus. People say the flu is worse. That's great, but no disrespect to you, but there's actually some things you could take for the flu. Ain't nothing you could take necessarily for coronavirus that can cure you. So I guess it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I think personally I'll probably need counseling after coronavirus is all said and done. I think I will, because I'm emotional, I'm loving. And so that has to wait. Somebody like me doesn't just get over that. I can own that. Somebody like me it's just not another news day for me. Some people, you know, it's a check, it's another news day, and they move on. That's not how I was made. God didn't design me that way. So for me, I think it's something that I'll look back on whenever it's all said and done. And I think I'll need to talk through some of those moments with people. You know, that's just the reality.
Yeah. Well, you briefly mentioned, you know, how things get skewed in the media, or at least perception. You know, everyone has their own perception of the media and the news that's being delivered. And fake news or the term fake news is used so loosely. Can you give us any suggestions on what type of media people should be consuming right now, you know, to get accurate information? And do you think that it's healthy for all, you know, this to just be thrown at us at every angle, media, news, all day, coronavirus coverage?
People have to be informed. You just have to be careful about who's informing you. And I always tell people this is what I tell people. I think this is the safest response, because in this world, you could tell people that the sky is orange, and it literally could be orange, and they're going to tell you that it's not. We're living in a day and age where you could tell somebody, don't walk over there. I'm telling you, they're ready to shoot you, and they will still walk over there, because people have beliefs that are almost cult-like, and there's no talking them out of it, even though they could be absolutely wrong. In their mind, 2 + 2 = 200. That is absolutely absurd. It is wrong. It is preposterous. But in their minds, you cannot talk them out of it. Just like somebody came on here talking about the flu. This has nothing to do with the flu. Our conversation has nothing to do with the flu. But they brought the flu up because in their minds, you have to juxtapose this, you know, what we're talking about now with the flu. Yeah, so that's the life that we're living now. That's what we're dealing with. So what I tell people is be smart. I never watch one news source. As a journalist, we were always taught never to count on one news source. We're taught that in school. And there's a reason for that, because you count on one news source, I mean, essentially you could be brainwashed. So you have to make sure that you collect your information from everywhere. What I find very dangerous is that some people rely completely on social media for their news. Somebody that's now a blogger, that's now has, you know, created this mass following, has told you that they're lying about the mask. And so now I got to deal with people on the street like, I'm not wearing the mask. And they believe that based on this one person that they've been following on social media now for a year, who has an amazing following, right? So like you have to combat all of that. So what I tell people is, first of all, social media is not your news source. Social media can break some news. Don't get me wrong. Social media can highlight something that's important. Somebody might be there at Target and find out that 2 employees that work at the meat counter died. That they can break some news. They can give you tidbits of news that can turn out to be concrete facts and turn out to be news. But it's not your ultimate source for news. And what I mean by that is somebody that's just blogging for a good old living, who's now a, you know, I don't know, a gardener turned blogger is not where you want to turn for your news. So I believe in looking at several sources for my news. ProPublica, I love. I think they break a lot of things. I just don't rely on your mass media news outlets, because a lot of times they are skewed in different ways. And I'll just leave it at that. I mean, if you're a smart person, you can turn on your TV and figure out who's skewed which way and how. That goes without saying. I want to read something that